Hey, everybody out there on YouTube. This is Story Dude from Story Dude Productions, and I have been sent to you to read you the most beautiful and entertaining stories on the internet available today. So let's dive right in and see what we've got. Am I the a-hole for choosing my senior cat over my sister and potentially allowing her to become homeless? I will preface this by saying that my mother treated my sister and I differently. I was always less than, while she could do nothing wrong. She'd always buy my sister everything she wanted, while I wore her hand-me-downs. I moved out at 18, worked through college, went NC with my mom and LC with sister, and our paths diverged greatly from there. I don't know what NC or LC means. I'm sorry, you gotta tell me in the comments. I now work in a field that pays well, while she is a stay-at-home mother. I guess I never quite got over this, and while I know that the main a-hole is my mother, and my sister didn't really know any better, I still fester negative feelings towards both of them. I found Tom in a bag as a newborn kitten. He was the only one still alive when I raised him over summer break when I was 13. Then, when school started, my mother got rid of him, and I had to go through great and extreme lengths to find him where she dumped him. It took me a week to find him, and we've been together ever since. For a few months, Tom hasn't really been okay and has been slowly declining. The vet, however, based on the recent blood panel we did, was confident that he still has some life left to live and said that he's by far the healthiest geriatric cat he's seen in a while. Thus, we decided to try out surgery to improve his quality of life, even though he's 21. The surgery comes with a price tag. I'm not in the US, but it's around 3 months' worth of minimum wage in my country. It won't set us back much, hardly an inconvenience, but we'll be frugal just in case complications happen. He's scheduled for Monday, fingers crossed. Anyway, my sister dropped by on Sunday, which was strange. We haven't spoken since she messaged me a Merry Christmas GIF on Facebook. Looks like her husband jumped onto the NFT bandwagon and they're kind of broke and a few months behind on mortgage, and I asked if I could help her out with the payments since they're at risk of becoming homeless. I said I'm sorry she's going through this, but this is not a good time for me either, and listed the reasons above. I do not want to ever be in a situation where my cat's life depends on $100 that I cannot afford to pay. I suggested she get a job and maybe downsize/move in with mother while they get back on their feet. She did not take this well, called me a something highly offensive and a crazy cat lady that's going to end up alone, plus some other nice words. I kicked her out. My mother and other relatives have been spamming me through the week for being heartless and caring more about an animal than in my own flesh and blood. My husband says I could have given her some cash to avoid this drama, and he's right, I could have. This is why I feel like I may be the a-hole in the end. The main reason I chose not to help is due to my childhood baggage. Am I the a-hole? Wow, that was one of the more intense roller coasters I've ever seen on this project. I'm gonna go with you're not the a-hole OP. I mean, I can't get into it. Let's read the comments, but that's my opinion. You're not the a-hole. Have you ever asked the family that has been spamming you how much they are financially contributing towards your sister? Hope the surgery goes well and wish a speedy recovery for Tom. Not the a-hole. It's not your job to take care of your sister's money woes. Like you said, she can get a job if she's so hard up for money. On another note, I hope all goes well for Tom, and I'm sending you good energy your way for him. Not the a-hole. If your relatives think your sister deserves money, I am sure they are happy to help her pay whatever she needs paid. Am I right? Yeah, that's a good point. Not the a-hole. She's a grown woman and still has your mother. She wouldn't let her favorite child on the streets, right? You went NC and LC. Again, these abbreviations I'm ignorant about, so please feel free to educate me in the comments. For a reason, and it's fine to stick it to you. You owe them nothing. Focus on your cat, your husband, and yourself, and don't overthink it. Yeah, and let's not forget also that your sister has a husband, and he's the one who lost all their money, and the husband presumably has a family and friends and a support system. So maybe that's the first place they should be looking for help. Not the a-hole. and her response definitely solidifies this. Anyone who resorts to bullying doesn't deserve it. That said, next time, do not list your reasons. You say one sentence, "Unfortunately, I cannot help you." You open the door to the bullying by trying to explain why I couldn't help. You don't owe her an explanation. It's your money, spend it the way you want to. You don't need her approval or anyone else's. If she asks you why, you tell her that it's not really her concern as to why you're not helping. As far as the family messages go, you can stand up for yourself by ignoring them. Refer back to the generic response if you get cornered. Stop trying to reason with a-holes. That's solid advice. Am I the a-hole for buying myself expensive clothes when my family struggles to make ends meet? I am an 18-year-old woman, and I've recently started my first full-time job. I still live at home, and I pay $300 fortnightly for rent. I pay for all other necessities myself, for example, my phone bill and hygiene products. My family has been very poor my whole life. As my mom, a 44-year-old woman, is a single mom who's studying full-time and looking after 5 children, I have a slight shopping addiction, as lots of girls my age do, and at least once a week some sort of package/food order is showing up at our doorstep. Today, a new pair of jeans, around $150, arrived as I was desperately in need for a new pair as I've outgrown my old ones. And my mother blew up at me. She called me selfish, insensitive, and that she's ashamed I am her daughter, telling me that I should think about how it makes her feel when I buy an excessive amount of clothes when she can barely afford to heat the house in the wintertime. So am I the a-hole for not offering to pay more rent and help more with the family of 6's bills, or is she insane for asking me to stop spending my hard-earned money on things that I want? Well, OP, I think that you should be paying more than $300 fortnightly for rent if you have a full-time job. And that being said, you are allowed to spend the rest of your money as you want once you are sure that you've contributed enough to your family's sustenance. Edit. Just a bit more context for everyone. The jeans were a nice pair of blue Levi jeans that should last me forever as they are such good quality, which is why they were so expensive. This is in Australian dollars as well. People who say I'm flaunting my money, I'd like to specify that I'm at work when the packages come, so mom will take them in. I have not asked her to do this, and she or my sisters will always ask what's in it or to try it on and how much it was. Addressing the shopping addiction as well, I have a long list of mental health issues which I think contribute greatly to the addiction, but I'm trying to get it under control. Yeah, I mean, as I said before, just, now that I know you're in Australia, apparently life has become quite expensive there. It sounds like you should maybe be paying more rent, but as I said, for the rest, you should have fun. You are not the a-hole. Your money could be spent more wisely, but your urge to splurge is understandable since you grew up poor. My best advice to anyone who did not grow up with good financial role models is to educate yourself on financial literacy. Don't fall into the same trap as your mother, and don't swing too hard the other way. Making lots of money doesn't mean you know how to hold on to it. You're not an asshole, but you're acting stupid. I did the same in my early 20s when I lived at home, and it's thousands I'll never see again on stuff I don't have/use anymore. It could have been invested in a car, saving up for living alone, or travel. You need to learn how to budget things because eventually your mother will kick you out, or you'll want to leave, which was my case, and then you won't be able to pay bills or luxuries. I'm not going to issue a judgment, but I do think you need to spend your money more wisely. You have a job now, but then what? Are you going to work this job your whole life while staying at home? Or are you going to advance your career in other ways, like college or trade school? $150 for a pair of jeans is very expensive and, to be honest, not a wise way of spending money. I suggest you think more about the future and use the advantage of low rent to save up for the future that you want. Then, when you're comfortable financially, you can help out your family if you want. Edit. Stop arguing with me about clothing price. If you want to buy expensive clothing, you'll find reasons to justify it. If you don't, you'll find other sources of affordable yet durable clothing. Expensive doesn't mean better. I'm surprised that not more people in the comments are commenting on how little the OP spends in rent, but maybe, I don't know, maybe $300 a month is reasonable for just a room in Australia. I don't know. I don't know these things. I don't know. I think you're the a-hole. You pay rent, that is fair, but maybe it's her way of worrying. Yes, it's your hard-earned money, but maybe, I say this as a person who learned the hard way, she just wants you to be more mindful of it. so you can save and not get into a position where you'd have to scrape like her. She just maybe wants more for you. I don't know. That would be my take. Side note, people who say stuff like don't get kids if you can't take care of them without context to the why of it should not procreate ever. And not the a-hole. She didn't ask you to pay more. She just thinks you are being wasteful with money when it is so hard to come by in life. All right, guys. Well, that's been it for today. Appreciate you joining us as always, and we'll see you next time. So until then, take care. This has been Story Dude, and wishing you the most blessed of days. Take care, y'all.